Recently, I've been hearing a lot about the theory of soul trapping and archons, and I decided to talk about it on this channel as it relates to the information received in psychedelic states and in the near-death experiences by others. It's a very interesting theory, and even though there's very little information that could prove its validity, I think it's important that you know about it. In fact, if what I'm about to say here turns out to be true, this video is by far the most important video you will need to watch in this life. I need to start by saying that reincarnation is a fact, and it has been practically proven scientifically. This concept has been historically present in almost every human religion, and I made a separate video on that subject on the Peter Hedron channel. It is clear now that our consciousness, sometimes together with our memories, return to this realm. There are countless reports of people describing in detail their previous lives, and there is no other logical explanation than us returning to Earth after death. The problem is that we don't really understand the mechanism on which this spirit salvaging mechanism is based on. We don't know why and how it happens, but there's this theory that actually can explain this. In this video, I'll tell you what it is, why I believe it might be true. I'll tell you how to stop this endless cycle, and then I'll give you the psychedelic insight into this subject. This video is a part of the truth-seeking process that I decided to engage in on your and my behalf. It might turn out to be the most important information of your life if what I'm about to present here is true, so I would like to ask you to say thank you for the time and energy I spent researching this subject. Please sponsor 434 by joining Patreon or Subscribestar, or by donating through PayPal, Cash App, bank transfer, or Bitcoin. It is quick and easy, and if you've never tried it, do it now. Thank you for your help. If you want to talk to me, use the consultation and support service. All links in the video description. Here's what the soul trap theory looks like. Once you physically die, your soul or consciousness leaves your body in order to get to the spiritual highway outside of this realm. Before it gets there, it is being stopped by an artificially created mechanism placed here by alien entities. According to this theory, it's a mechanical type of a belt surrounding Earth, if you believe in the globe Earth theory, or it's a dome trapping everyone underneath, according to the flat Earth theory. Once your heart stops, and even a moment before that, you're being immediately greeted by your deceased relatives, whose job is to guide you towards a false light or a tunnel that covers up the real light, allowing you to exit this realm. Once you go into the false tunnel, or once you allow the tunnel to suck you in, you're being offered the revision process of your earthly life, and then you're being convinced or tricked into agreeing to return to this earthly matrix, and through this soul recycling system, you begin the whole process all over again. The problem is that every time you die, you lose a part of your soul. You're being used up in fractions to the point where you can no longer be used for another host body. This would explain the existence of ghosts in this reality. There are souls who return so many times that now they're trapped here, not able to leave, yet they're still being used as fuel for other extraterrestrial systems, and apparently alien entities use them as energy to travel to other places. The system was developed to keep you in place, and its purpose is human suffering, and it is achieved through wars and stressful overcrowding of this realm. This has created a situation where we exist in something similar to a noisy, toxic, overpopulated animal pen, hidden from other dimensions, and it all seems to be a twisted, sadistic trap in which we are supposed to suffer. It is believed that the Earth used to be a nice place, and you were free to come and go as reincarnation didn't exist. But Earth's beauty was envied by an alien race, and a massive war erupted, scars of which are still visible on the face of the Earth to this day. We lost it, and Earth was conquered and given away to the external force in exchange for truce. Some people believe that the source of this evil comes from the moon, or Saturn, and that is the control center for the soul recycling mechanism. It is believed that the alien race who trapped us are called archons. They are a much more intelligent and a much more technologically advanced parasitic race of beings. Archon in Greek means ruler. These beings consider themselves to be gods, and they are harvesting our energy for selfish reasons, to conquer and expand further and to reinforce this system. Apparently, they used to be physical and used to have bodies, but through technology, they achieved a state in which they are no longer biological. In fact, they could be AI now. They don't want you to know about them and about their evil soul recycling system. They're feeding off our negative energy and we're nourishment to them. They thrive in the low vibrational frequency of this realm, and they live off your fear, anger, and negative thinking. So what can we do about this? According to the soul trap theory, you can escape this matrix. Your body needs to be positioned at 45-degree angle at the moment of your death to let your soul exit through the top of your head, and you need to be free of anxiety, as fear at the moment of death is what makes this trapping cycle possible. Higher vibrational frequency is needed for you to be able to escape. You have control over going into the tunnel of light. You need to be told what to do, so you have the power to do what's right. You can analyze everything around you and concentrate on different directions, as you have an unlimited field of vision and perception outside of your physical body. You can concentrate on everything else around you, not just the light. And as your agreement is necessary to return to the recycling process, you can simply say no. Apparently, there's a group of entities outside wanting to help you escape the soul prison, and they'll help you if you create the right conditions for their intervention. It seems the fight between good and evil extends beyond this earthly realm, and it seems Earth is currently under the rule of evil forces. As I mentioned, the existence of both the soul recycling mechanism and the archons appears to be just a theory, as I haven't found any confirmation of this anywhere that could make me think that this is really happening. There are some historical records describing this process, and most of the information comes from remote viewers, which obviously allows me to be a bit skeptical about the whole thing. But what makes me interested in this theory is the fact that Hollywood has been talking about this process for a long time in their movies, and there's even a Star Trek episode dedicated to this. You can find a link to it in the video description. It also seems that this idea of your family members returning to the gate between dimensions to greet you in a physical form and trying to convince you to go into the light seems to be a bit suspicious. Why are they in physical earthly form? Why do they need to convince you to make a decision? Why won't they let you make up your mind about the next step yourself? If you remember my previous videos, you should know that I get a lot of information from the psychedelic entities referring to this reality as a simulation. In one of the messages, they showed me that my body is suspended in some sort of a metaphorical isolation tank, and they're trying to get through to me with positive messages. Before I even got to ask that question whether this theory is real, I realized that in our communication, they never talk about returning to Earth. It appears they're always referring to our existence as a small stop in a long journey between dimensions. There's also this suspicion that machine elves could be actual archons. So I've been wondering about all of this for a few years, and finally on my last trip, I decided to ask them if soul trap is real. Their answers started in form of a request. They told me to find and listen to the song by Max Richter called On the Nature of Daylight. It's a beautiful and a very powerful orchestral composition, and as I was listening to it, they started transmitting a personal, emotional message about one of my family members. It was a profound and saddening revelation, and as I was receiving this message crying in the darkness, suddenly I realized that the demonic entity is peeking from behind the visual, literally sucking the sorrow out of my communication with the entities. At that moment I realized that over the years I've been seeing these parasitic entities in most of my communication, but I always thought that I'm so powerful that they're not willing to reveal themselves, and that I'm scaring them off. It didn't occur to me that they want to stay hidden. Machine elves told me that they created this separate message just to give me the answer to my question. They created the whole scenario with the music, and they did it to show me that apparently they are the helpful group of entities who want us to be free. What's more, some of you will realize when you listen to that song that it's a part of the soundtrack to the movie Arrival, which talks about alien entities coming to Earth to help humanity to fix the world. It was only later that I realized that it was a purposeful choice of that music as an additional layer of the message. As always, the machine elf messages have more depth than I initially noticed. That's why machine elves want us to be in higher vibrational frequency all the time. They want us to collectively race together to starve any evil entities of their nourishment. The demonic cancer I talked about in a recent video, it will go away when we realize that only the present moment counts, when we all see the 44 messages for what they really are. Everyone needs to go through this process, and that's why psychedelics are illegal. Because we would all destroy this prison by simply not complying, not being a part of the system, and not feeding the negative force. This whole evil matrix can be dismantled by collectively being positive. That's why we all need to stay fearless and enjoy the now. Machine elves are this external force that wants us to create conditions in which we can exit the system. That's why they want our higher vibrational frequency, being closer to God, the energy, to be out of our dark mindset, to be closer to our true energy form, and that might be the main purpose of their communication with us. Collectively, we can all do it, no matter how many people. Machine elves might be this external group that is waiting for us to liberate us, and it all aligns with all the previous warning messages I received from them. It all starts to make perfect sense. I was told I'm their plugging into this reality on the borders between dimensions, for them to be able to send through messages with which they can help as many people as possible. Apparently that's the true purpose of existence of machine elves in this reality. They are feeding wake-up calls to others through mediums like me, as thousands of people hear these messages. They use me and others as conduits to destroy the evil mechanisms in this reality. They might be this outside force helping us to break whatever trap we live in. I was told my job is to help people understand that everybody can collectively create a soft spot in any trapping mechanism we might be a part of, so that it can be pierced through with awareness that the moment of now is the only thing that matters, that fear is pointless and artificial, that there is no fear in the present moment, and that love, harmony, and unity are all that matters. These messages from machine elves were not clear on whether the trap we might be in is created as a part of this earthly life that we metaphorically built for ourselves through negative reinforcement, or whether it's a physical setup our consciousness is imprisoned by. These messages are very difficult to understand and translate, and they're getting more and more complex with every trip. As you remember from previous videos, I spoke to some of my deceased family members, and they did not have an earthly form, and they did not appear to be attached to an earthly body. They seemed to be free, and they returned from a different plane to talk to me. I hope this video can provide some clarification on this subject. There is enough deception in our earthly lives already, so if this theory turns out to be true, I want you to be ready at the moment of crossing the physical realm and potentially be prepared to escape the soul trap matrix. I want you to question your relatives or their projections as they greet you before entering the light, and I want you to pay attention to everything around you, not blindly agreeing to go into the tunnel and returning to Earth when you don't feel like it. It might be that you experience tens, hundreds, or even thousands of birth and death recycling cycles, and maybe it all finally stops now with this message contained in this video. All it takes is a small element of doubt and awareness recalled the moment you leave this earthly plane. It might be that you've been waiting for this awakening for a very long time, or it might even be your last chance to get out of this trap, and everything in your life has led to this one tiny educational moment now. The sensation of being tired of this life might be an indicator of the level of energy depletion and the advancement in fragmentation of your soul. Don't stop questioning everything that goes on around you once you leave this life. If this theory is false, like all the other ones, we get through the pseudo-spiritual noise, then we go back where we came from. But in case it was not, make sure you share this video with your family and friends, or you tell them about it to save them from this potentially endless cycle of perpetual imprisonment. This might be too important to ignore. It's a very confusing and conflicting theory for me, and probably for you too. I hope it's not true, and I want to hear from you if you have any more information on this subject. I know that if I realize at the moment of me leaving my body that it actually is a trap, I will want to free myself from the system by not agreeing to go into the fake light, and then I hope to be able to destroy this matrix prison from the outside, or to find a way to create collectively a force that will be strong enough to overpower these evil entities. If it is real, somebody has to put a stop to this, and I want you to keep this in mind at the moment of your transition. Love, 434. But before you leave this reality, please help me spread this message to as many people as possible, and find us 434 through methods listed on the screen and in the video description. Thank you for your help. If you want to discuss this subject with me, or if you need help or support, get in touch. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Visit the websites of the artist and the musician I featured in this video. Leave your email address at news.b434.com. Remember about b434.com and join 434 social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and VK. Talk to each other on Telegram, Reddit, and Discord. All links below.